What if a single moment in history reshaped an entire civilization, not with force, but with character, wisdom, and transformation? Today, we uncover the rise of Islam and the remarkable era of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, a chapter that changed world history forever. Welcome to Global History Hub. Today, we uncover one of history's most significant and fascinating eras, the rise of Islam in 7th century Arabia, and how the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, transformed a fragmented region into a unified society built on principles of justice, compassion, and knowledge. Before we dive in, I'm curious to know from you, when you think of major historical transformations, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Share your answer in the comments right now. Let's see what our community thinks. Arabia before Islam, a world waiting for change. In the early 7th century, the Arabian Peninsula was a land divided by tribal loyalty. There was no central government, no shared law, and no unified identity. Mecca, however, stood as a major center of trade. Caravans traveled from Yemen to Syria, carrying goods, stories, and ideas. But Arabian society also faced deep challenges: tribal conflicts, social inequality, lack of literacy, and traditions that often favored the powerful over the weak. Yet within this landscape, something extraordinary was about to begin, a transformation that would influence culture, society, and history across continents. The call, a message of transformation at age 40, while meditating in the cave of Hira outside Mecca, Prophet Muhammad PBUH experienced the first revelation. This moment marked the beginning of a mission, not political or tribal, but moral, ethical, and societal. The message encouraged people to reflect, seek knowledge, uphold justice, protect the weak, and treat each other with dignity. This was a profound shift for Arabian society. This shift from tribal loyalty to universal values was revolutionary. What do you think is the most challenging part about changing deep-rooted social traditions? Let me know your perspective in the comments. Early followers and the first challenges. In the early years, only a small group accepted the message: family members, close companions, and individuals seeking fairness and equality. But the powerful leaders of Mecca felt threatened, not by force, but by the social changes the message encouraged: freeing slaves, equal rights, ending exploitation, and prioritizing justice. This led to resistance, pressure, and hardship for the early followers. Yet their patience, character, and commitment made their influence grow. Migration to Abyssinia, a landmark in religious history. As the challenges increased, a group of early Muslims migrated to Abyssinia, modern Ethiopia, where a just Christian king granted them protection. This became one of history's earliest examples of peaceful coexistence between communities of different faiths. The Year of Sorrow, a test of strength. After the passing of Khadijah and Abu Talib, the Prophet PBUH lost both his strongest supporters. This period is known as Amul Huzn, the Year of Sorrow. Yet even in grief, he continued to guide his community with patience and resilience. The migration to Medina, building a new society. In 622 CE, the Prophet PBUH and his followers migrated to Yathrib, later known as Medina. This migration, called the Hijra, marked the beginning of a new chapter in world history. In Medina, something extraordinary happened. The first pluralistic constitution. The Prophet established agreements between Muslims, Jews, local tribes. This became one of the earliest documented constitutions in the world, promoting justice, mutual protection, religious freedom, community welfare, laid the foundation of a peaceful and organized society. The Constitution of Medina established rights for all citizens regardless of faith. What lessons do you think modern societies could learn from this early example of pluralism? I'm really interested to read your answers below. Building a strong, educated, and just society. In Medina, the focus was not on wealth or power, but on values, education, charity, fairness, responsibility, respecting others, helping the poor, guiding the youth. Literacy programs were introduced, encouraging people to read, write, and learn. These principles would later influence cultures across Asia, Africa, and Europe. The battles, defensive, strategic, and measured during this era. Several battles took place, but history records them as defensive, meant to protect the community from attacks. The Prophet's PBUH leadership emphasized diplomacy first, protection of civilians, fairness even to opponents, and ending conflict as soon as possible. These strategies built stability in the region. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah, a master class in peace. Instead of responding to aggression with force, the Prophet PBUH signed a peace treaty with Mecca, the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. Many companions initially felt the treaty was unfair, but within 2 years, the agreement led to a peaceful turning point. More people learned about Islam through conversation, trade, and interaction, not conflict. This period shows how patience and diplomacy can create massive social change. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah seemed unfair initially, but brought long-term peace. Have you ever experienced a situation where short-term compromise led to long-term success? Share your stories in the comments. The conquest of Mecca, a peaceful victory in 630 CE. When the Prophet PBUH returned to Mecca, it was not to seek revenge. Instead, forgiveness was granted to many who had opposed him. This peaceful victory became one of history's most powerful examples of mercy and leadership. The final sermon, Universal Principles for Humanity. In his final sermon, the Prophet Muhammad PBUH emphasized equality of all people, justice, respect, human dignity, rights of women, kindness, responsibility. These principles influenced civilizations far beyond Arabia, shaping law, culture, and social ethics around the globe. Legacy of the Prophet's era. Within a few decades, the Arabian Peninsula transformed into a literate society, a unified community, a center of trade and knowledge, a culture that valued fairness and compassion. The rise of Islam was not just a historical event. It was a social transformation that inspired countless generations across continents. After exploring this incredible journey, what aspect of this historical transformation resonates most with you today? Was it the emphasis on knowledge, social justice, or peaceful coexistence? Let's have a meaningful discussion in the comments section. If you enjoyed this historical journey, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. I read and reply to as many as I can. Don't forget to subscribe to Global History Hub and click the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming explorations into fascinating chapters of world history. Subscribe for more history stories. Thanks for watching.